Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I'm in a different area today. I've got the DJI Air 2S and we are in Clancy, Montana, visiting some relatives. And yeah, I just thought I would take the opportunity to take the Air 2S up and show you the beauty that is Montana. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, let's look at the safety menu real quick here before we take off. And we want obstacle avoidance on, so we're going to turn that on bypass. And we are not going to disable sideways flight. I'm going to set, because there's a lot of hills around here, I'm going to set the return to home altitude at maximum. So that way if we are behind a tree or something, we'll make sure that we are able to get above it. Compass is normal, IMU is normal. Take a quick look at the battery. 4.24 volts across the board, so we're good there. So yeah, let's get out of there. We are shooting in, trying to decide whether I should go in 4K 30 or 4K 60. Let's just shoot in, well, you know what? Why have 5.4K if you're not going to use it, right? So we're shooting in 5.4K, 30 frames per second. Let's start recording now. And let's go ahead and take off. We'll do that on the app. And there's that little beauty, and it is a beauty, isn't it? I mean, it just stays nice and stable. And of course it says we got an altitude zone, but we're good there. So let's move forward as much as it'll let us. Yeah, it's probably not going to let us get too much closer because I'm standing right here, but let's rock it back and forth. And there again you can see that gimbal in action. And because there's a lot of mountains and obstructions here, we're not going to do our usual droney. I am just going to punch straight up. So I'm going to throw it into sport mode so we get something pretty quick here. So let's go straight up now. And there you go. So, well, that is a part of Clancy that I had not seen before, but let me look at where we took off from, and you'll see that we're right behind a mountain here. Yeah, check it out. Is that something? This is literally directly behind their house. So let's grab some altitude and let's go over the top of this. And we'll drop that gimbal down a little bit, and heck, let's just move forward here and see what there is to see. I'm going to put it back in normal mode. That way we have our all of our obstacle avoidance, etc. And I'm grabbing altitude here. Looks like we can get above. Yeah, we're at maximum. I've set it at 117, and we're above this mountain that is right behind the house here. And that freeway that you're looking at there is that is Interstate 15 that goes into Helena, Montana. So let's just kind of do a quick yaw around here so you can kind of see the territory. And we're not going to cross the freeway, but we can kind of fly around here and take a look at some of the territory, some of the mountains. Clancy, Montana, again, like I said, it's on just off of Interstate 15, but it is definitely in the Rocky Mountains, and it is just south, probably 10 or 15 miles south of Helena, Montana, which is the capital of Montana. Wow, this is a beautiful spot, huh? We were here last night sitting on the front porch, and boy, there was a big thunder and lightning storm came over, and man, lightning in these mountains that was just literally right in front of you. I don't think I've ever been as close to a lightning bolt as that. It cracked. Then all of a sudden the skies opened up and we had a little bit of a deluge. So I'm going to kind of move sideways here. And what that... Yeah, this just looks like just a county road or something. That's kind of an interesting looking little peak, huh? Let's see if we can kind of just do a little rotation around that guy. I'm trying to see what that is. Is that a car down there? Yeah, those are cars parked down there. Whoop, we lost a little bit of a weak signal there. That's the first time I've ever seen that with OcuSync 3. So it kicked into RTH there. So like I said, that's pretty amazing to see that with OcuSync 3. So we'll let it come back and we will cancel that. And I hear an aircraft off in the distance, so but he appears to be way to the west of us. We're going to drop some altitude just to be on the safe side. Not showing up on ADSB. I'm pretty confident I can hear him up there, but I do not have eyes on him, so that's why I'm being extra careful here. Yeah, he's way up there. Thought he was, but you know, discretion is the better part of valor. And I just dropped altitude there just to be on the safe side. Okay, he's long gone. Let's grab some more altitude. Let's get up to that maximum altitude. I've got set at 117 meters, which is, oh, that's about, I don't know, 380 feet or so. So that way I know that I keep it below max legal. But here we are coming back. Let's just kind of yaw around here so you can take a look at the side of this mountain. And you know, this is kind of cool. We're you know, I wonder what would happen if I tried to fly straight towards this guy. I mean, in theory, obstacle avoidance would stop you. We'll just take a look. Well, we're kind of above it. Let's move sideways here. Yeah, you'd really have to, you'd have to do some climbing to get up here, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want to lose your drone up there. So I wonder if it would climb above. I don't know if the drone, because I don't think it wouldn't go above max legal. So would it just put the brakes on or what? This is a little crazy here, but yeah, I'm just going to back it off. I'm not that brave. If I had both those trees next to me there, and I didn't want to risk that. Can you imagine losing your drone in territory like this? Let's kick that gimbal up just a little. So here we are, a little clearer. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, just put the brakes on. Whoop, and then we lost. Well, that's not good. Yeah, we lost connection. Now this part is really odd. What you clearly saw here was the drone immediately go into return to home, and it turned around and that tree was directly in the way. So the obstacle avoidance worked as it should, and it stopped and it backed the drone off from that tree. But what you can see, I kept that little piece right out of the manual there on fail-safe return to home. On fail-safe return to home, when the drone loses connection, after 6 seconds, it's supposed to back up for 50 meters, and it didn't do that. So, and if it had, it would have regained a connection. Now, I was holding the controller up and walking towards the drone to try and regain connection, and I did. And moving the drone out that you're seeing right there, I did manually. So in any case, I just thought it was interesting that the drone did not back up like it says that it's supposed to do in the manual. But in any case, all's well that ends well. And no doubt when I went around kind of behind that mountain there is when I lost the connection. So it all worked out, but it was kind of unusual. It's not the way DJI says it's supposed to work. Okay, so what happened there is we lost connection, and I moved out with the controller to try and get connection back because I knew I was already at max altitude and did not want the drone to, you know, I don't think it would rise above max altitude. So what would it do? It would just sit there till it ran out of battery and probably try and land. So we were able to get, fortunately, I walked out in front of the house that I'm at and was able to get connection back. So that was good. Let's, I don't want to fly over these houses if I can avoid it. So let's get over the mountain here. But OcuSync 3, there are limitations, as we found out. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. That was a little bit of an anxious moment for me because I wasn't, you know, I knew, listen, if you were not already at max altitude, would the drone be able to work its way around? Probably, but when you lose connection like that, my feeling was that it probably would have just sat there till it got low battery, then auto-landed, and you saw where we were at. But that was an interesting experiment. I mean, you know, what we saw was that that the drone just would put on the brakes in a situation like that, which is what it did. As I tried to fly into that mountain, the drone just put on its brakes. Okay, we've still got 38% battery here, and we're close to home. So let's go around. Let's go the other way here. That's as much excitement as I need. That was an interesting little development there, I'll tell you. You know, definitely OcuSync 3 or not, these mountains will block your signal. So we have discovered that there are limitations. And there we're in that 150 meter zone, and we're not even close to that, so we're good. And again, now here's a situation like this. So let me yaw around and show you point back towards our home point. And the thing about flying in these kind of mountains is that, for instance, that mountain that's right in front of us there, your drone is not going to get over the top of that. So if it can't find its way around, it's just going to auto land. And our home point is at the base of this mountain. So if it couldn't get around that, it would just, I'd assume it would just try and auto land up there. So that's just kind of a little lesson for all of us, that there are limitations to return to home. I suppose you could set a super high return to home, but that it would not be legal because you'd be above legal height limitations. So yeah, you can't do that. I learned something there. Okay, this guy is, we're getting down to about 30% battery, so let's come on down here. And I'm in the backyard of that house right there. Let's drop some altitude and let's get a look at the house here. So I don't know if you can see me. I'm standing there in the, well, you can't, I'm in the shadow, but you can see the landing pad there. So let's kind of curl around here and look at the front of the house. Drop a little altitude. It's a nice home. They've really got a beautiful place to live here. Yeah, a bunch of swallows flying in front of us there. I was watching those swallows fly around yesterday. Let's grab some altitude. And there's our landing pad. And that's me standing in the shadows there so I can see the phone. Let's, and I see the drone right above me. Let's just come on over. Well, I don't know. Let's see if the drone can get a. Well, I don't know if I gave it a good enough look at the landing pad. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try a precision landing, and it's going to rise. Remember, we set that height up to max. No, so it's not. It's close enough. It's just going to come in and land. So let's see. We're kind of in tight quarters here, but I'll cancel it if it looks like it's going to hit something. It's pretty darn close to that landing pad. Look at it zero in on it. And I'm watching the drone come down. Boy, it's darn close. And boy, those swallows are just dive bombing it there all over the place. It's hilarious. Yeah, I think we might hit it here, folks, and it'll pick up the camera by itself. It's right about GoPro high now. Yeah, those swallows really took an interest in it. And look at that, right on the H, so I'd say that's successful. All right, let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, that was a fun flight, other than the part where I lost a little bit of signal there. You know, I was kind of messing around checking out that obstacle avoidance pointing towards the mountain, so that probably wasn't the smartest move in the world, especially already being at max altitude with the drone, because evidently as I rotated around, we were blocked, I'm sure, by terrain there, and it lost connection. Now, what is fascinating about DJI, I was just thinking about this, what you guys probably already saw on the screen, but I haven't looked at on the SD card yet, is when the drone loses connection, it backs up 50 meters, trying to regain connection with the controller. And I think that, in conjunction with me walking up to higher ground, we got control back and turned around and flew the drone back. But that was kind of an interesting little test. I don't advise you trying it, but it's good to know that obstacle avoidance does work. And in that situation, it simply put on the brakes, even though we had APAS on, because it was already at max altitude. So there's a lot of lessons there, a lot of interesting things. So you got to be careful when you're flying in mountains like this, because there's a lot of potential for losing your drone, because I suspect if it wouldn't have gained connection, it would have just hovered in place until the battery reached a certain point, and then it would just land in place, right? So that could be problematic. As you saw, some of these mountains up here were pretty rugged, but it was fun. We saw some cool sights, and you know, all's well that ends well. Yeah, I mean, just beautiful territory and just an amazing, capable drone here. So I guess that's about it. I hope you enjoyed that. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And yeah, of course, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.